Yes then YouTube, the 4-2-2 of formation that I have loved for many years. It's got everything and it is meta once again on EAF. So please YouTube, drop this video a like for me. And if you can hit that subscribe button to my channel, that'll mean the world to me. So without any further ado, let's get straight into the custom tactics. For your cheapest and most reliable place to buy your FC24 coins, check out mmoexp.com. Link is down in the description below. Use the code WOLF at the checkout for 5% off your order. So you are going to want to use balanced on the defensive style. Like I always say in all my videos, pressure on heavy touch is good though. It's definitely not as good as balanced because it does drain your stamina. And if you're not expecting the press, it can actually be a really random pain in the arse, really. Like, it could be annoying, especially if you're not expecting it. But if you are understanding that sometimes it will press and you're ready for your team to press if you do lose the ball sometimes, it is good. But for me, I much prefer balance. It's just something I enjoy. I like to just be in control of where and when my team presses the ball. The defensive width has only gone down to 45 now, and there are actually two options here. So I am using 45 width. I just like it when I'm a little bit more narrow than I normally am. I like it when my left back and my left centre back are a little bit more narrow. You know, there's not as many gaps on that side. Same on the right hand side with the right back to the right centre back. There's not as many gaps on that side. And just in general, my whole back four is harder to break down. But I have actually been experimenting with 50 width, just leaving it on the default. I like that. So if you are someone that doesn't really want to play the more narrow defensive style in terms of being more compact with your whole team as a unit, just leave it on 50. It definitely does work and it is a viable option for you. So there are two options there. Option 1, 45. Option 2, 50. Pick which one you want. The defensive depth as well, there are two options, of course, especially with the broken meta of the 71 depth at the minute. I, of course, am playing the 71 depth. It just works. If any of you don't know what the 71 depth does, by the way, it automatically presses for you. It gives you that automatic offside trap. Just in general, it is so broken and so OP. So that's what I'm using. But if you are on old gen in particular as well, you don't want to use that because the 71 depth just doesn't work on old gen. It doesn't do the automatic press. It doesn't do the automatic offside trap. So if you are on old gen, or you don't want to be not a meta rat, but you just don't want to abuse the meta as such, and also if you don't really like a high line, because some of you won't like the high line, 55 depth is the way to go. It's kind of like what I've been using for many years on the 55 depth. But at this moment in time, when something is as broken as that 71 depth is, I am going to use it, and I'd be lying to you if I said I didn't use it. I do. The offense, of course, yes, balance and direct passing, your absolute bread and butter. Is so good. So OP. I actually can't use anything else other than direct passing. The build-up play, though, long ball is good. Long ball is definitely good and a viable option. I just noticed that when I do have long ball and direct passing on together, that I'm kind of not, all my players are just running away from me. I don't actually have a passing option on coming towards me, right? That's why I have the balanced on, to try and balance it out with the direct passing. The offensive width, a little bit boring. I actually leave it on 50 in the 4-2-2. I really like just in general where my lamb and my ram are in the 4-2-2. So because of that, I don't really feel the need to change it. I just like where they are and it works. Players in the box, of course, is going to be 7. The way I look at that, very simple actually. The more players that we have in the box, the more likely we are to score a goal. It really just is as simple as that, YouTube. All my spreadsheet and my data that I use when I'm doing my custom tactics, they all point towards this. The more players in the box as well, the more goals we score. And the stats and the data back it up as well. It's not just a little bit of an outlier in my head. The stats really do back it up. Corners and free kicks, of course, is going to be 2 and 2 to stop us getting counter-attacked on a lot from when we have our own corners and our own free kicks. So, custom tactics done. Let's get into the player instructions. Now, the key thing is with the 4-2-2, as we do get into the player instructions, YouTube, is you see this big gap here between my 2 CDMs and my 2 strikers. I want to close this gap off as much as I can. So a lot of my player instructions are tailored around trying to close that gap off, because that is the big downside to the 4-2-2. It's a very good formation and one that I loved and have done for many years, and it is OP and meta again, especially with it being a 4 at the back formation and having 2 CDMs. But that gap between the 2 CDM and strikers, we need to close that gap off as much as we can. We really do, because when that gap is big between our 2 CDMs and our 2 strikers, we can sometimes get a little bit cramped in. And if our opponent does put the press on, if he does have the 71 depth, we can kind of be stuck where to go when we're not using it. So close that gap off as much as you can. So because of that, the 2 strikers, they're actually on pretty basic things. Stay central, get in behind, and come back on defense. And like I said, you might think the come back on defense is a defensive move, and it kind of is, because it does make us more defensively solid. but also it is actually just to close that gap off between the two CDMs and the two strikers. If we don't close that gap off, we can be really hampered, especially actually in our attacking play, not just our defensive play. We can be really hampered. The stay central and the getting behind, I don't want my strikers venturing from the width of the 18-yard box. I don't really think it's needed or an effective thing to have on your strikers really on EAFC 24 at this moment in time. The getting behind, you can use it as a dummy. Like, just because we have them on getting behind doesn't mean we have to play the ball when they make the running behind. You can use it to create some space in that left-hand side and the right-hand side of the 18-yard box for your lamb and your ram to attack. And that brings us nicely onto the lamb and the ram. Now, there are two things that you can do here to make it a little bit more tailored to your approach. So, what I have my lamb and my ram on is come back on defense and get into the box for cross. So, that's what I have them on. So, both my lamb and my ram are on get into the box for cross. What I have been trying out is this drift wide and free roam. I've been trying them out on both my lamb and my ram. Just one of my lamb and my ram. Either my lamb and my ram. I've been trying them both out, and I have to admit, having one of them on free roam is a viable option, and it is. I prefer having them both on stick to position. I like them being on the left-hand side and the right-hand side of the 18-yard box, but having them both on free roam, well, having one of them on free roam, sorry, almost, if you want to know what it says take a free roll and roam into space to provide a passing option. So if you have your ram on free roam, your ram will kind of drift infield and try and pick up spaces in that number 10 position. It's very good and very OP and very effective. I just prefer to have both my lamb and my ram in more of like a structured position, so I know where they're going to be all the time, especially if I'm getting pressed with the 71 depth. I feel like it is a good thing to know where your players are going to be, especially if the press is random. So definitely something to maybe try and see if you like it. Let me know in the comment section down below, do you like having them on free roam? Now, your CDMs, you don't have to copy me play for play, but I have the more defensive minded one. So for me, that is my right CDM and informed Jude Bellingham. I have him on stay back while attacking and cover centre. I don't really want that right CDM to be venturing forward too much, just kind of playing that CDM role and patrol and give us that defensive solidity. The more attack minded CDM, so for me, my Musiala on my road to glory, he is then just on cover centre, so he is on balanced attack, and what that means is he will make a lot of third man runs going forward. He won't go right up into our two strikers. He won't do that at all. He won't push forward almost as like a third striker. He will kind of just help out a little bit with the attacking side of the game and give us another option, basically kind of on the edge of the box rather than actually being in the box. Is something that I love with the 4-2-2, and because we do have two CDMs, we don't really need to have both of them on stay back while attacking, in my opinion. Both the left back and the right back, I have them both on stay back while attacking, so I don't attack at all with my left back and my right back in the 4-2-2. And then last but not least, my goalkeeper is on comes for crosses and sweeper keeper, and that right there is my brand new 4-2-2 custom tactics video for you guys. If you did enjoy this video, please drop it a like for me, drop a comment down below, and hit that subscribe button to my channel. Thank you for watching. Remember, spread the love and positivity. PMA, positive mental attitude. Peace out. One love.